prophesy to you. You will rise, you will shine, you will prosper in Africa. Hear the word. Liberia, sweet land of liberty. We prophesy to you, you will rise, you will shine, you will prosper in Africa. Hear the word. Liberia, sweet land of liberty. We prophesy to you, you will rise, you will shine, you will prosper in Africa. Hear the word. You are lifted, amen, hallelujah. Liberia, you are lifted, amen, we prophesy to you, you are lifted, amen, hallelujah, amen. You are lifted, amen, hallelujah. Kingdom shall come to your life, amen, hallelujah. Nations shall come to your life, amen, hallelujah. Liberia, you are lifted, amen, hallelujah. We prophesy to you, you are lifted, amen, hallelujah. We prophesy prosperity in the government, amen, hallelujah. We prophesy righteousness in the government, amen, hallelujah. We prophesy holiness in the government, amen, oh, you are lifted, amen, hallelujah. Liberia, you are lifted, amen, hallelujah, amen.
I'd like to say welcome to the Liberian Dream program. This is Pastor Lawrence Kennedy. I'm the pastor of Bethel World Outreach Ministries, Atlanta. But I'm from Liberia, and I love that nation. I love you, fellow Liberians, wherever you are. And today I have as special guests around this table future leaders of the Republic of Liberia. You know, future movers and shakers. We thank God for His grace upon us that, you know, we're scattered in different parts of the earth, but I usually say to folks that our manpower dream has become manpower development. The biggest problem I think we're faced with now, and it's a good problem, is how do we transport some of that manpower development back to Liberia to make a difference? And so I have Wiata with me again. She not too long come from Liberia, quite active. She was quite active back there. In fact, she had come for a brief summer and was really on her way back to Liberia. She had left Georgia, where we're broadcasting from, had left her mom, and was now in New York on her way back to Liberia, and was told she could not go because of Ebola. And after a couple of weeks, she had to come back to Atlanta, Georgia, and then got her kids started in school and everything. But I'd like to say to you, and I know this for a fact, that she's here with us in Atlanta, but her heart is really back in Liberia. And this gives me a lot of hope, because everyone is trying to get out and, you know, better themselves. But here you have someone that's trained, that was making such contribution, you know, back home, and has a burden. And so today she'll be sharing a whole lot of what they did back there and how we can get involved and how, as Liberians, we can go back and make a difference. Because one of what's on my heart is that each of us has a piece of the puzzle to Liberia's not just problems, but to the solutions. Each of us is needed by our nation. And so I have her children also on the set with us. I have Miss Siata. She will tell us a bit about herself. Tell us who you, your full name, you know, your grade, which school you attend, you know, what you want to become when you grow up, and what you're doing in school in terms of what's your ranking in the class. Now, I know that's a whole lot, but just tell us who you are and, as you know, answer as much as you can remember. Welcome to the Liberian Dream program.
Thank you. My name is Yata Carlson. I go to Lanier Middle School, and when I grow up, I want to become a pediatrician, not like a nurse, medical doctor.
Okay, and you got to speak up. And in your classroom, what's your ranking?
Second place,
Second place. Now, this is amazing. Here's a girl that just came from Liberia just 2 years ago, and already in her class, she just entered middle school, but she ranked second in her class. And she tells us that when she grows up, she wants to be a pediatrician. And she qualified it, not a nurse, not a pediatrician nurse, but a medical doctor. This says to mean that our nation, Liberia, has got a lot of hope. And so, Seattle, we say, go for it. The sky is your limit. We encourage you to become all you want to become. The Lord, by His grace, you're here for such a time as this. This is a land of opportunities. You have the Emory University, you have UGA, you have Georgia State, you have Cornell, you have all of these great schools, Ivy elite schools. Become all you can become by the grace of God. We just put His blessings upon you. And so we have seated by you a gentleman that, I don't know if you want to introduce him or he's going to introduce himself, but just tell us who he is. Or young man, you care to tell us? Now, I want you to be very loud, who you are, what your age is, which grade you're in, and what you want to become when you grow up. Now, you got to speak real loud.
I'm Caleb Joel Corfett, and I'm 7 years old in second grade, and I'm going to be an engineer when I grow up, and I know the Lord will help me approve that.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Before I talk to your mom, Joel, what are some of the things, because I'm told that, someday you want to return to Liberia and you want to build all kinds of things. What are some of the things you want to build in Liberia when you grow up? We're back to you. What are some of the things you want to build in Liberia when you grow up?
Bridges, houses, things that are broken.
Wow.
Things that needs.
Amen. Now, this is a kid just in second grade. Not just bridges and houses, but he said something. He wants to build things that are broken. We have systems that are broken. And so it sounds to me, and I want us to take the program in this direction. I believe what we need to think, some of the things that are broken, systems are broken. I believe our way of thinking is so broken because we cannot live above our imagination. We're told that as a man thinketh. That's why I'm so thrilled when it comes to Liberia, because I've never given myself into negativity, into thinking all of these debilitating thoughts. I've always seen us as a blessed people. Now, I don't know about you. All of us have challenges and setbacks, but I've always said that we are a blessed people. I see our nation, Liberia, as the Israel of Africa. Just like we talk about Israel in the Middle East as being, God's chosen. He called Abraham, the friend of God, to follow him. He said to Abraham, I will bless you. I will make you a blessing. I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you. And in you all families of the earth will be blessed. For some reason, I believe Liberia in Africa occupies the place that Israel occupies in the eyes of God. I believe we occupy that place in Africa. So in spite of all of our setbacks, in spite of all of the failures, I am a prisoner of hope. I believe that we have a future that is resplendent. I believe that if we were to just come together, if we were to just unify ourselves, overnight, I believe our nation can become developed. I'm always of the view that it's so easy to develop that nation, to get that nation up and running, that everything may be broken. But I'm here to say to you, it's like the valley of dry bones, that dry bones can live again. And so we have to just tell us again, because you haven't been here for, I think, the past 3 programs. So just tell our audience who you are, what you did in Liberia, and where your heart is when it comes to Liberia. I turn it over to you.
I want to say I'm happy to be back on the program, and it's always a joy when I get to know that I'm going to speak into the lives of people, especially Liberians out there, and I'm just excited. And you can see today we have in studio with us my team. Okay, I have my engineer sitting next to me, and he just said something so profound. It's like he's growing up to be a builder, and most important of all, to build things that are broken. I have spent my life building people that are broken, children that are broken, and it's such a great task, but especially when you find people that are in that same struggle with you or in that same path with you, you find such joy in doing it. And so there is hope for that country called Liberia because I love it with all of my heart. And even in the U.S. at this time, hey, I'm still looking for opportunities to build even the children I have met here or have just come to join us because Liberia is at the peak of everything we do, and we try to keep it within our kids that they know. And imagine, nobody told him to say this, but he's like, I'm not just going to be building buildings, but I'm going to be building things that are broken. And so, Pastor, today, I want us to really focus on those things that are broken. Like you said, we have broken mindset, and we have broken lives. Back in Liberia, I worked with schools, and I worked with children. And we saw the need. There are some families in Liberia that could afford and they could send their children to the best of schools, J.J. Roberts, St. Teresa's Convent, CDA, SPS, and so on and so on. And I was fortunate to work with the American International School, the Embassy School. But when you are there and serving, and you are serving kids that are from other nations that will never know you tomorrow or may not give back to your nation, you sometimes sit and think, what's about my people? And I was so opportune that a man came from the United States in New York, to be specific, and he was a Liberian, and he said, I have this heart. I've come back to this country 10 times in 10 years looking for ways that I can give back. I have the money, but I just can't find someone to partner with me. And for me, that was like, I don't have the money, but I have the ideas. I have the energy, and we can do this together. And I'm talking about in person of a man called Reverend Samuel Enders. So I left my job, and I was ready, and he said, are you kidding? Are you going to do this? And I'm like, if it's for Liberia, we got to do what we got to do because this is what we have. How we make it is how we're going to live in it. And so we started the African Dream Academy, and it's such a big program but we started so little, and people didn't believe what it was going to turn into. But despite not little beginnings. So even as we are discussing building things that are broken, I started seeing broken children in the Rock Hill community behind ELWA, in Douazon and all of the swamps. Those were the children we went out for. If Liberia is to rise, if Liberia is to be great, we had to go down to the source. And the source is the new generation that was just growing so fast without guidance, without any order or structure. And so he was able to give me that opportunity to say, I'm going to support you. Go for it. And we got those children. We brought them. We clothed them. We fed them. And as I speak, it is still going on. It is a good thing. And not only us, but we also challenge other Liberians. Look, don't sit in America and you got hope in this nation. You got resources that you can change a life, that you can change the generation, that you can build. Come home. And we did see a lot of other people come home, Pastor. We did see them come and join us, not at African Dream Academy, but in their little quarters. and say, yes, if you can do it, we can do it too. And I believe that is the beginning of building things that are broken. And Caleb, I like you talk about things that are broken, right? It's not only things that could be broken, there are people broken too, right? Their hearts are broken. They need people to talk to them. They need people to share that there is hope. And you are going to grow up. You have got an opportunity to be in the United States to go to school, right? Are you going to want to go back to Liberia? Talk to me. How are you going to build it? So in Liberia, what are the things you want to build that will help children? What do you think children need right now in Liberia? Talk a little bit about your school. Do they need schools? What do you like about your school? What's the name of your school? No, your school in Gwinnett. What's the name of your school?
White Oak Elementary School.
What is it that you like about White Oak? I know you like a lot of things about White Oak. You like the toys? What do you say about the playground? Uh-huh. So do you think the kids in Liberia need some toys and some playground?
Yeah.
So will you be able to build playgrounds for them?
Yes.
Do they need it? What would it do for them if you were to build a nice playground? Talk to me. Do you enjoy the playground? I know he does, and children play everywhere. And for us in the educational field, we say children play through and learn through play. So if we can build that aspect, right now the early childhood program is in Liberia, and it's something new, and we are asking everyone out there to support that, because if we can catch them in the cradle, if we can begin to build them before they get broken, then we are off to a good start for a nation like ours who has been through so much. It's not what we've been through, but it is what we are willing to see happen for us tomorrow. And Pastor, that is my hope. When we talk about building things that are broken, I'm on the side of building people. Not only building children, but building teachers that will help, building parents that will help to do this for us.
Well, I'd like to just say that those of you who are listening to us, we have a great future. Our current leadership, president, last term ends next year. And so we'll be getting a new code of officers, president, vice president, what have you. But I'd just like to say to us, all of us cannot be presidents, but all of us can give back to our nation. All of us have something, each of us has something to bring to the table. And those of us who are seated around here, now what I'm doing, even now, is in a sense giving back, because I'm inspiring us, to get involved. If Liberia is going to be rebuilt, it's going to be done by us. Let's not talk about they and them and he and she. Let's look at ourselves. What do we have on the inside of us? What is my dream? Or what is your dream? What are our corporate dreams for our nation? I challenge us, to get in the trenches. Many of us are very privileged, in different parts of the Western world. Now, some of you are listening to this program in Asia, in Australia, in Brazil, and other parts of the world. In Africa as well, even back home in Liberia. But I'd like to say that all of us has a piece of the answer. We can touch lives. We can impact our brothers and sisters. We can make a difference. I want us to commence seeing ourselves as our brother's keeper. That the Lord has graced us. He has blessed us, fellow Liberians, to be a blessing. I challenge you not to just love yourself. In fact, one of the marks of the end times, the Bible tells us in, I think it's 2 Timothy chapter 3, where Paul says, but mark this, in the end times, men will be lovers of themselves. I challenge our senators and representatives and ministers of government to really get down to loving our people, our constituents, to loving our villages, our counties, where we're from. It's time to want to see our communities, our cities, our counties, our nation develop more than ever before. It's time to go way beyond not just what I can grab from it. It's time to long to see us getting the best. Our kids are brilliant. Let's invest in them. Our children are our future. We have two of them around this table with us, aspiring to become engineer and medical doctor. And so we want to encourage them. But I challenge us to get away from greed and selfishness. Like the young man said, he wants to build things that are broken. Our system, we know, is broken. It starts with the way we think. I mean, it's like we eat it just for us. You already cared for. Those of you, let me just talk to those of you in power. You big people. You already a senator. You already a representative. Look how much you make on a monthly basis. You're giving so much gasoline. You know, we're paying your washman, your cook, and what your driver, and what have you. And then there's something called development fund. And then what do you do with the development fund? Now listen to me and put me on record for this. You know, we're guilty, all of us. We killed Willie Talbot. We put 13 of our citizens to the polls and we shot them. We said they were corrupt. And so each of us, from the Dole's administration up until now, if we're involved in corruption, we've condemned ourselves. Because we condemned them and we killed them. So we were expected to do way better. But it's even worse. If you're from one of the tribal background, because the people that were in power, we call them Congo people. You know, we call them miracle Liberians. And so if the Congo people that you kill, now you are the indigenous man. You know, there was the song, Congo woman born soldier. Country woman born, Congo woman born thief. You know, native woman born soldier. But if you are native or indigenous, and all of us have roots, you know, to tell you the truth, you may not understand it. But all of us, you know, we're so, amalgamated, we're so interwoven, intertwined. My great-grandmother, Jocola Pele, yes, my great-grandfather came from the States, Henry Z. Woodson. But they all had farms and had children on the farm by the beautiful African girls, native girls you may call them. And so we all mixed, we're one people. But what am I saying? If you are Mano, if you are Pele, if you are Bai, if you're Gisi, if you're Crew, and you are a senator and representative, and you're being paid so much for hardly any education, any training. But you have those positions, and you're being paid so much. And then you're giving money for development fund for your county, and you squandered it. Are you not equally guilty? I mean, if you talk about real justice, then are you not corrupt enough to be treated like you treated other people? But who are you treating now? Your indigenous people. You're the ones who ought to be loving them. You're the ones who ought to be making sure that they have great schools, that there are hospitals, that things are being done for them. And so I challenge us. I love you. I don't hold any of those things against you. But I want us to just start thinking. You have an opportunity to make a difference. History will be your judge. Let's do away with the greed and selfishness and corruption. Let's care for our nation. Let's dream, Liberians. Let's have a dream to build something that's great, to lay the foundations that our kids can build upon, that all of us can enjoy our sweet land of liberty. We'll be taking a break now. When I get back, I'll get Sierra back on, and I believe that she has a whole lot she wants to say herself. But you're listening to the Liberian Dream program. God bless you. Amen.
We are his people and the sheep of his land. We sing with peace, we sing with joy, we sing for happiness. We sing with peace, we sing with joy, we sing for happiness. We say, oh Lord, we love you, Lord. Yes, we love you, Lord, and we say, oh Lord.
We'd like to say welcome back to the Liberian Dream program. This is Pastor Lawrence Kennedy, and I also pastor Bethel World Outreach Ministries in Atlanta. We're situated in the Norcross area of Gwinnett County, and our address is 1794 Peachtree Industrial Boulevard, Norcross, Georgia 30071. Whenever you're in our area, we invite you to come and worship with us. Again, I have as my guest, my co-host, actually, because she's always here with me, Mrs. Wiata Coffett, and she's here with her two children, Siata and Joel. And now, the program is the Liberian Dream. We love our nation. And actually, the kids are on set with us today because they're on their spring break. And we've been having a fabulous time. In fact, on yesterday, we visited an office downtown. You want to tell us about that visit? Who we visited? Do you remember her name? Where we went? Cynthia Nash? Or Blanchard, rather? The Honorary Consul General of Liberia. We visited her office on yesterday. What were some of the things you learned from there yesterday?
I learned that she said during the war year, the soldiers of the United States used Ba. It was a written tribal language, and I didn't know that. I was really surprised, and they used it as a secret code.
Wow. Oh, that's real great. Not just that, she also told us that Madam Nash also told us, Blanchard also told us that she went to school where? Which college she went to? The university? Wow, and the children were surprised. And she gave them a tour. We took a group from our church there to meet our Honorary Consul General. And she talked with them. They had their photo up with them, took pictures and everything, and shook hands. And we just talked about our nation because we want our kids that are here, even those that are born here, we want them to become aware of who they are. Now, sad to say, there's some Liberian kids, you ask them, they say, well, I'm not from Liberia. My parents were born there, but, hey, this is who we are. We live in these United States, and the Chinese have been here since World War II or even before that. The Chinese have been here, the Japs have been here, the Koreans have been here. But these are people who still speak, their different languages. They speak English fluently, but whatever Chinese language they speak. And sad to say, Liberians, we have a Kru man married to a Kru woman, and their children don't know a word of Kru. That's an indictment upon us. Listen to me, fellow Liberians. It's time that we develop a good self-esteem of who we are. I think many times we look down on ourselves. We say, for instance, back home, you remember we had African Day? Now, give me a break. You're African. You're in Africa. You're in Liberia. And you have a day set apart as African Day. There's something wrong with that mindset. You see, we had this superior Western mindset, that we didn't wear VA shirts, African shirts. So African Day, we wore that. Other than that, we wore like I'm dressed today. Give me a break. But after our war, I learned something. When we arrived in the Ivory Coast, because by the grace of God is where we fled. Some went to Guinea, some went to Nigeria, to Sierra Leone, Ghana. But I realized when we got to the Ivory Coast, the people were so proud of who they were and of their culture. The Nigerians that worked there, because the church we attended, we had a lot of folks there from the African Development Bank, especially from Ghana and Nigeria. No matter how well educated those people were, they wore their outfits every day. Not just that, when they got together, in spite of their PhDs, what have you, they went right into their native tongue. But we as Liberians, don't speak that thing around me. We're ashamed of being indigenous. People, it's time for us to celebrate who we are, to celebrate our culture. You know the very Congo people that you kill at the polls? I remember a good number of them, at least where I'm from the Kirasburg, Todi, Bensonville area and everything, Bento area. Our old people spoke Pele better than the indigenous Pele people. They learned the language. They interacted with the people. It's time for us to become proud of who we are. You see, because with that kind of pride, we will do all we can to develop our nation. Now, sorry for going a little hard on us. But I listen many times to Ghanaians and Nigerians say, man, you Liberian people, you're foolish people. All you like is talk, good time, nothing. Pleasure, that's all you want. You're Epicureans. It's time for us to become serious-minded. It's time to say, no, this is just unacceptable. We've blown too many opportunities. I mean, we always talk about the problems. We are answers to the problem. The fact that we are alive today, we have solutions. So tell us some of the answers that you will bring to the table, some of the things that you will do as you become educated in America, some of the difference that you want to make just at your level. I'm not putting anything in your mind. What are some of the needs that are there that you think, Siata, that in the future you can help to meet?
In the future, when I'm well educated, I will send missions. Well, I'll be with the missions to go to Liberia and help build up hospitals. Because when I grow up, I want to be a pediatrician. So I will use my career in a way that will help Liberia to rise up again. And also, I will ask some people to volunteer so the mission can grow, that will spread out and to give people.
Now this is awesome because she's just in 6th grade. But here is a 6th grader, fellow Liberians that are listening to me, who wants to become a pediatrician, wants to take doctors back, will go on short-term trip and volunteer, and someday make sure that early, prenatal care, all these things, even before the babies are born, that these needs are being met. And someday she even sees herself transitioning back. She said that earlier. She looks forward to someday after she's educated, going back home, returning home to give back. And the beauty about giving back, fellow Liberians, is that when you really give back, it's amazing how much you get coming back to you. We don't have to steal from our nation. Let's just grow this thing. There's enough in it. There's enough in that nation to sustain all of us. It's time for us to become patriotic again, where we're there to build it. Just tell us a bit about the program that you left, that you're part of, some of what they've done. Just the whole 9 yards. Now, people who are well positioned even want their kids coming to the school because it was just a vision. And look where you took it. Tell us about where you took it and what it has become today, and some of the dreams that are in the works. So you just tell us.
Like I said earlier, Pastor Kennedy, the African Dream Academy is actually a vision of Samuel Enders, and brought it up and said, I got the funds and I need someone to, I just want a school for the underprivileged, the ones that will never in their lifetime be able to get an education, get clothes in their back.
Quality education.
Quality education, global education. And so we started and we went to the trenches, the Rock Hill community, and got those people who have to crack rocks for a living, who have to sell in the market. Our target was the marketeers, our people who only do business from hand to mouth for a living, and yet familyhood has to continue. So we get their kids and we come and tell them, look, this is these children can be transformed, you know. And then we rent a building, and we see that the building cannot hold us. But can you imagine we decide, okay, this is just a rental property, but we're going to build on it anyway because it's for a good cause. And then we invest a lot of money into it and build this place that it will become a school to be able to cater to these children. We were like, we just need 100 children to start with. And we did the lotto where you just put your names through a drive and we just randomly pick names. Picking these names, the idea came to me was like, how do you say no? We have hundreds and hundreds of people lining up. So like we end up picking 400 names to start off with. And we're taking them from the age of 3 years old to at the time to those who were like in 3rd grade. And we were able to do that with a team of teachers who we just talked to, and they were like, do you believe in us? Can you just give it a try? We've left our houses, we've left our good jobs, and we know this can happen for Liberia. And that's how we started. It was just not another school like people would say. The first set of uniforms we had were country cloth. Have you seen the country cloth and how they weave it?
Mm.
That was our first set of uniform. We had these older people we got from up country that came down and spent a lot of days weaving that uniform because we wanted our identity. It's like, why are you going through all this? We want people to value what we were doing. And then we started, we gave them uniform, we fed them, we had snack, we had lunch, we kept those kids till 3:30. And it was not just about just keeping them, but it was like giving them a new mindset. And my idea was I cannot give these children anything less than what I was giving a foreign child at the American school. They do deserve the same education. So we took the Liberian curriculum, and I was able at the time, imagine I had not come to Georgia yet, but looking on the internet and working, we took the Georgia State, curriculum and was able to match it. The strengths of the Georgia curriculum and the weaknesses of the Liberian curriculum, brought it together to make it a strong curriculum. And we are a language arts based school because we know that's what our kids lack, even our teachers. So we started working on, we had this great phonics program called the Zoo Phonics, and we used it and it worked. I saw children coming speaking just their vernacular, learning to speak proper English. And parents coming who could not even speak the English and telling me I am pronouncing words because my child is teaching me phonetically based pronunciation. And that really took a hold of me. I'm like, this thing can work. Then we started the adult literacy where we like get to meet even the parents, give some time to them. So there's a lot going on. But we got these kids to the point that they had not only the math and science and all of that, but we incorporated the arts. We had dance, we had drama, we had, the cultural part, we had karate, we had all these extra curriculum activities to get them. The computer lab was open, we had a library running. And people were like, why are you doing all of this? I'm like, this is the precious jewels that Liberia has. This is our
And
diamond and our gold.
you will continue. Now, all of this was done, or is being done, because it's continuing even in your
Yes.
absence, is being done right on the other side of the road from ELWA.
Yes, we're right. Everybody
Yeah.
who knows Bonjal,
Yeah.
that entertainment place, we are adjacent Bonjal. But guess what? That was just our starting point. We have 25 acres of land in the Douazon area that we should be moving to because this is a great thing. This is a great thing. It's supposed to go to high school and then a technical school. And now the latest since I left the grounds is what we had on the plan that have come to pass. And I'm so excited about it is our children's hospital. It's starting out as a clinic that we cater to only students. Not only to our students, but students in our community. As long as you have an ID card, you come there, you have a huge percentage off, you get treated. And we're now going into schools to establish health clubs where we get to talk to our teenagers. We talk about STDs, the prevention, AIDS, and with Ebola, we have this huge Ebola awareness program. So there's so much. Then we have our farm running, where we do our agriculture programs and our science fair, our tree planting. Why all this? And people were like, it's too early to fold your hands like this. I'm like, what you see and you want, you have to put it down right now. And others are building on it. And it's such a good thing, my people. There is so much that you can do in Liberia. And our prayer for ADA is that it will be spread out through the counties. That's why it's called the African Dream Academy, because that's the name. The name is the vision. Right now, we are working on the Liberian part of that dream.
Mm-hmm.
And if Liberia is the mother, all the good things start with Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
Our prayer is that we will be the model school. And it will grow. And it's going to become what we want to see. What you want to see, make it happen. And so I'm so grateful for Samuel Enders. As a matter of fact, he's going to be in the States on Tuesday. There's a big fundraiser coming up again. Because the bus that was given to us, people were like, we didn't give you the bus to start picking up the entire republic. So that means, someone is sitting in New York. If he could pick up other students to drop them to their schools before getting his kids to their school. Oh, there is the African Dream Academy out there. Yes,
Whoa.
that's our beginning. And it's a great thing happening there. All those flags you see over there is to tell you all the countries in Africa that we hope to reach with the African Dream. And lower down are all the flags of our different counties down there. And every year we celebrate a county. And we have the children, we have Pella in our curriculum. We have Chinese in our curriculum because we see an influx of Chinese, and we have Arabic. And those are the future, language programs, because we know we are a growing people, a traveling people. And our children have different desires and careers to come.
Now, are there other Liberians that are beginning to?
Oh,
Are there other Liberians that are beginning to notice, what you're doing and want to have what you're doing duplicated in other parts of the country? Are you all being contacted?
yes, since I've been in the States, we were contacted by a fellow from New York, but a fellow from New York, but up north, who is going to the southeast with a program. He has his own name. He has been here a long time, and Samuel Enders was speaking at a Lottery Club rally, and this guy got so inspired about what Samuel was doing in Liberia and his team, and he's like, I've been here long enough.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of contacts too, and I believe if you can do it, I can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So he has left, and to prove that, one of his supporters did call me and said, look, I've heard about the good thing that you started. I need you to put us on track on how do we support this guy. She's an American, and she's like, we are going down with him because this is a good thing. And just in 2 years' time, the impact you people have made,
Mm-hmm.
we want to help him make that impact
Mhm.
too. So the southeast, to be specific, I think it's River G or but up there that he is going, and he's like, I'm going to follow suit. And we say, you are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You are welcome to run with it, because we cannot be all over at the same time. But we are so glad when people can come and see what we are doing. And fellow Liberians, this is not the time to criticize and to tear down and say, well, what is it? We see the big billboard and we don't even see the school. But we are at the seed stage.
Mm-hmm.
And like Mission Grow, our mission is to grow. We have been given the grace to reach others
Mhm.
widely. That's what grow means. And if that grace is upon you, that blessing is upon you, don't sit there. Reach someone.
Mm-hmm.
Look at those kids. Nobody taught. And later on we have people making calls, Mrs. Coffey, J.J. Roberts is not doing such a good job for my child. And can you find space for me? I'm not saying this to say that, there's not a good thing going on, but to that was a plus for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we see you guys are doing a great job. Can you make space for other children to come in? And my answer has been, your child is already opportune.
Mm-hmm.
What you can do for us is to bring that child who lives with you,
Mm-hmm.
who you are sending to the behind the house school,
Mm-hmm.
who stays to the house and clean up for you. That's the child we want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We want to make that child that tomorrow you can be proud of that child. So we had a lot of children, we were outsiders that stay with people. And that opened my eyes to visiting a lot of homes and giving these children hope.
Mm-hmm.
That you are not just here to take care of someone else's child. You are a child too. And you deserve an education. Because tomorrow, I don't know where my son and my daughter will end up. Who they're going to have as partners. Who they have to sit to tables with. If they become senators and representatives, who are they sharing the house with? So if we do educate them properly, we know tomorrow the senators and the representatives, the lawyers and chief justices that we are raising, we can say, yes, I believe.
And not just that, I believe that you're raising up, the best groups of civil servants ever. Because these are kids that, and their parents who are receiving, because of a great love in the hearts of, what's his name?
Samuel Enders.
Samuel Enders and people like you that just have the desire to give back. Now, this also serves to me as an indictment upon our republic, our nation, to see that one person can come and in no time make such a big difference when millions are being given for education. I learned that George Soros went back to Liberia and gave such a big grant, and we don't see the outcome of that grant. People, listen, we're shortchanging ourselves. We're shooting ourselves in the legs. Our national leaders, you ought to hold, not me holding you accountable. You're too powerful for me to hold you accountable. I may just disappear, off your watch. But it's time that you hold yourselves accountable. It's time that you discipline yourselves. That you bring your greed under control. That you bring your selfishness under control. That, listen, I am cared for. It's time to care for the Republic of Liberia. It's time to care for the citizenry of our entire republic. I mean, look at little children, those little kids. Now, she came from that school as well. This little girl, Siata rather. And she's what? Number 2 in the ranking in her school, in her class in Gwinnett County. One of the best counties. The second fastest growing county in the state of Georgia. When you talk about development, success, people say is in Gwinnett. But she's now second in line. But she's from that school as well. And so we're challenging you, Liberians. It's time to wake up. It's time to rise up. It's time to make a difference. And we got a lot going for us. I challenge us. It's time to be our brother's keeper. Look at those little kids that are being educated from that place. Those kids know what it is now to give back. That someone believes in them and cares for them enough to invest in their lives. And so when we start challenging them to give back to the nation, to serve their people, they understand what giving back is now. Go ahead.
After the Ebola, we had another group of kids that lost their parents. And I wasn't there now, but Samuel was telling me how people were tossing them from place to place. Nobody wanted to keep them. And I was inspired to start the Mission Grow, which is just a mission house for these kind of kids. And I said grow means grace, reaching others widely. Think about these kids. They don't have Ebola. They didn't call Ebola on themselves. They lost their parents, and they are there. So we had to give them to people to please keep these children. And Samuel goes out of his way, taking food to their homes. So everybody call him Uncle Sam. It's like because he's like Pastor Kennedy. He has to feed the nation. And he's taking food to them and making sure they are fed. And he's like, what am I going to do with these children? They are growing and they look to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, don't worry, God provides. So we have the Mission Grow platform that we are looking out there, and we know that someone will say, I can lease a building. I can lease some care, pay some caregivers. They have a school. African Dream Academy is their school till they graduate from high school and technical. So we just need a place for them to live. They have a hospital already. So when they get sick, we take care of them. But can you imagine? The needs are there, and God is still opening eyes to see these needs. And if you are there, you say, well, I don't trust anybody in Liberia anymore. I can say to you, there are a lot of people going back to Liberia with great programs. I'm only speaking from my part as an educator because this is where I am and that's my world. But there are a lot of other great programs that you can go to the internet and verify. Don't just throw your money into nowhere. Go there and verify and see if you can be of help. I know you can be of help. And if you will ever help anybody and realize peace and joy and fulfillment in that help, is to help your own people. It's to help the nation that brought you up. When it was sweet, right now it's your time that you will give back to that nation. And I want to encourage you. There's so much we can do. And together we can do it. There was a joke thrown at me yesterday, and it was like, oh, they need somebody to do this work. I said, are you guys ready for me to come? And the response this morning was, right now.
Amen. Amen.
And
Amen.
I'm like, any day I'm ready to go back. I told somebody I can work for 10 months in Liberia and come and see my kids. But this is the call. It's a wake-up call to all of us. While you have the time, do what you can. While you have the strength, do what you can. While you have the power, do good.
We have our time is almost up. Sierra, do you have anything to say to young Liberians everywhere? Other young children about Liberia, and even the kids in Liberia, your friends at the Dream School. What do you want to say to them? Call some of them by names and say hi. Some of the families and teachers back there. Come on.
Hi, Dinah. What else again?
Well, who do you remember? Which teacher? Besides Mrs. Goffin. Miss Warner.
Hi, Miss Warner. Hi, Mr. Wolpert, AB.
Amen. Well, our time is about up now, but we'd like to say thanks again to Wiata. Thanks to Joel. Thanks to Siata. We've had a wonderful time on the Liberian Dream program today. I don't know if you've been blessed, but I love our nation, Liberia. I do not apologize to anyone for being a Liberian. George Washington loved America. Thank God America has been good to us. We bless America. We bless this nation. Many of us are now naturalized citizens of these United States. But our heartstrings, our navel strings, we're all buried in Liberia. I believe that God has brought us here to preserve us, that we can be a blessing to our nation. So all of you Liberians out there, you're special. We love you. Let's be our brother's keeper. Let's cover each other's nakedness. Let's care one for another. Let's love each other deeply from the heart. God bless you, fellow Liberians. May God bless our nation in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 God bless. Patrick, put my song back on.